The female protagonist unexpectedly travels through a difficult road to conquer the cold side, the dark belly, and the icy mountain prince. Along the way, she unexpectedly creates a self-recommendation seat, a loyal dog and a milk dog younger brother Chen Nian. Ah! How can I choose this? Chapter 1. I don't want to die. Hey. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Madam, wake up. The cold cries of the unfamiliar man came to Chen Nian's ears, and he slowly opened his eyes. A fierce-faced and fawn-faced bull head mask caught his eye. Ah, ah, ah. Ghosts. Chen Nian's brain suddenly woke up, waving his hands and slapping the man wearing a terrifying mask in front of him, while screaming in fear. Madam, please calm down. Who are you? Where is this? Madam, registration information requires providing your name and contact information. Registration. What information is it? Where is this? How am I here? Chen Nian's face was full of confusion. He was just writing a paper in the school dormitory when he suddenly felt a tightness in his chest. He then fell to the ground and couldn't get up. How did he wake up here? She turned her head and looked around. I saw myself sitting at the fourth information registration window in the hall, where the elderly, children, men, women came and went. Sorry, Ms. Ha. Perhaps you died in a hurry, and our staff did not have a chance to explain to you. The ox head mask spoke softly. This is the prefectural office. You died suddenly at 3 a.m. this morning at the female dormitory in the south building of What? Sudden death. Chen Nian looked incredulous. Yes, madam. The bull head mask looked at her with a smile, as if she had grown accustomed to this kind of scene. Upon hearing the affirmative answer, tears welled up in Chen Nian's eyes. How could that be? You're lying to me. I'm only 23 years old. I couldn't help but feel anxious when I thought about writing my paper just now. I don't care what your purpose is, let me go back immediately. My paper hasn't been saved yet. Sorry madam, you have passed away. I can't go back. Do you know this is illegal? I can sue you. Chen Nian was impatient and needed some degree of deception, even thinking of restricting his personal freedom. As soon as she finished speaking, Chen Nian felt someone behind her patting her shoulder. Hey! Classmate, hurry up, I'm in a hurry to get reincarnated. Chen Nian turned his head and saw a rotten and terrifying face. Ah! With a cry of surprise, Chen Nian retreated in fear. After being stunned for a while, Chen Nian finally accepted the fact of sudden death. How could I die? Ah, 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 ah. The more I speak, the more I feel wronged and sad. Tears flow uncontrollably like a flood breaking through a dam. Hey, don't cry, I'm afraid girls cry the most. The bull head mask panicked for a moment, transitioning from a routine service worker to a gentle and considerate one. It quickly stood up on the table, flipping through tissues and trembling as it was handed over. I'm dying, sobbing, I can't control myself. I really don't want to die. I still have my parents who love me, and I want to have them, sobbing. Mom. As soon as Chen Nian thought that she would never see her parents again, she couldn't help but bury her face in her hands and burst into tears. The men, women, and children who came and went in the hall all cast curious glances, one at the man and the other at Chen Nian. Don't cry, you're crying like this, others might think I'm doing something to you. How about this? The man gently comforted Chen Nian. Do me a favor, I'll help you fight for the opportunity to return to the human world. What do you think? Really? Chen Nian immediately stopped crying and suddenly lifted his head. His face was as firm as if he had grabbed a life-saving straw. "What's up? I'll help." Hee, the man shyly scratched his head. "It's actually helping me check my graduation project." Graduation project? Is there also a graduation project in the underworld? Chen Nian's eyes widened like copper bells, as if he had heard something incredible. Of course. Don't underestimate our underworld, okay? We also have academic requirements. The bull head mask has a proud expression on its face. What should I do? You can tell me. It's not difficult either. My graduation project was to create an ancient fictional world through my own magic. What you need to do is enter this world, make the male protagonist fall in love with yourself, and make the male protagonist's character image more full. When your life is over, you can naturally come back. What if the strategy fails? If you fail, you won't be able to get out. The man looked at Chen Nian with a cunning gaze. So serious. But it's also an opportunity to return to the human world. I don't believe that as a modern person, I can't even handle an ancient big brother. Although I've never been in love, I've never eaten pork, and I've never seen a pig run. There are not only 100 dramas I've pursued in my 4 years of college, but there must be 70 or 80. It's not a matter of minutes to handle an ancient person. It's just a matter of holding hands. Chen Nian silently pondered in his heart. Okay, deal. Chen Nian followed the tall, broad-shouldered, narrow-waisted man with a bull head to a conference room, where a projector-like device and an unknown machine were placed. Oh ho, even the underworld has achieved modernization. Chen Nian murmured softly. Look, the man turned on the projector and the screen showed an ancient wealthy family. Gu Mansion. The screen flashed, revealing a graceful young girl of 17 or 18 years old, with a delicate face, big eyes like brinbuling, slender eyebrows like willow leaves, and a plump cherry mouth that looked like a Barbie doll. This is Jiang Hua, the legitimate daughter of General Zhang's mansion and also the host of your soul. This person has an arrogant and domineering personality, looks down on others, has no ambition, and knows every day that Brother Wangzhou is long and Brother Wangzhou is short. This is Lord Gu. Gu Wangzhou, the husband of Jiang Hua. This person has a deep mind and a cold and dark belly. This is a site that can monitor your living conditions in that world in real time. If you successfully conquer the male lead, there will be a prompt on the site. Gauge Chen Nian listened attentively to every word the young man said. This is the place where she will live and the people she will interact with in the future. It's really careless. As the saying goes, knowing oneself and the enemy leads to victory in every battle. Brother Nyoto. There are too many of you, right? Chen Nian furrowed his brows and looked helpless. With so many things, this scumbag said he couldn't remember them all. He couldn't even remember them all. Don't worry, Jiang Hua's memory will blend into your memory with your arrival. If I enter another world, what will happen to the real world? Don't worry about this. The speed at which time passes in the world I create and the real world is different. After you spend your entire life in the virtual world, perhaps the real world is only a few hours away. Of course, if you successfully conquer the male protagonist, I will cast a spell to bring you back to the real world as soon as possible. Okay, if there's no problem, just lie in the middle of that machine. Okay. Chen Nian walked over and realized that there was a formation drawn in the middle of the machine. It was probably the graduation project mentioned by the little ghost, Chen Nian thought to herself. I'm ready. Chen Nian lay on the machine, hands folded flat on her abdomen, shouting loudly with a dying heart, as if cheering for herself. So, goodbye. The bull-headed man hooked his lips, smiled and waved his hand, then closed his eyes, recited a spell in his mouth, and his hands began to seal and cast spells. Chen Nian felt the increasingly bright white light enveloping him, and then fainted. Chapter 2. I have traveled. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cough. Chen Nian was awakened from suffocation, and his consciousness slowly began to recover. Jiang Hua's memories flashed through Chen Nian's mind like a movie. Chen Nian felt uncomfortable in her throat, as if something had gotten stuck in. Moreover, even breathing became increasingly difficult. Chen Nian unconsciously squeezed his hands around his neck, as if it could make him feel better. Cough. Cough. Chen Nian's breathing became increasingly difficult, so he quickly helped the nearby stool to get up from the ground. When Chen Nian saw the half-eaten gailingao and the spoon dropped on the ground on the table, Chen Nian suddenly realized. It turns out that Jiang Hua was stuck by gailingao. As a medical student, Chen Nian immediately thought of the Heimlich first aid method. He quickly scanned the entire room and stood next to the table. He extended his index and middle fingers together with his right hand, placed them above his navel and positioned them with 2 fingers. Then, he clenched his fist with his left hand, placed his fist eye in the designated area, and turned his right hand to embrace his left fist with his palm, quickly charging towards the corner of the table. "Hurry up, doctor. The queen is getting stuck and can't breathe anymore." An anxious and nervous voice sounded outside the door. Okay, I'm already fast." Accompanied by the sound of crackling footsteps, it seemed that the voices of maids and doctors came from far to near. Chen Nian didn't have time to listen carefully and kept repeating the collision action. Bang! Cough! Chen Nian finally spit out gailingao when the servant girl Chunzhan pushed the door open. "Princess!" Chunzhan was stunned for a second, then quickly ran over to support Chen Nian, who was bending over to support the table and breathing heavily. She reached out her right hand and lightly patted her back. "How are you feeling, princess?" Chunzhan pulled over the nearby stool and helped Chen Nian slowly sit down. He then reached out to the teapot on the table, opened the teacup, poured a cup of tea, and placed it next to Chen Nian's hand. Chen Nian raised her head and looked at the maid who had a slightly flustered expression and quickly calmed down. She thought to herself, this should be Jiang Hua's personal maid Chunzhan, right? TSK, this psychological quality is indeed strong. Unfortunately, your princess didn't wait for you to come back and save her. Sigh, Princess Gu, how are you feeling now? But there are also symptoms of poor breathing. A steady and elderly voice came, and Chen Nian turned his head to see a newcomer who was in his prime, dressed in green cloth and carrying a wooden medicine box diagonally, with a grayish-white beard and a gray bun. He must be the Gao Tai, who is often invited by the Gu family. It's much better now, and I can still breathe, but my throat is still a bit uncomfortable. Chen Nian answered truthfully, seemingly calm as water on the surface, but in reality, his inner turmoil was magnificent. Oh my goodness! This is actually a living imperial physician. I don't know if there has been a name left in history. If I wanted a signature now, wouldn't I be going to make a fortune when I return to modern times? Ha ha ha. No. I'm soul-piercing, this is just a virtual world. If I have to leave in the future, I probably won't be able to bring anything back. Then I'll help Empress Gu diagnose her pulse first. Speaking, Dr. Gao sat down, opened the medicine box placed on the table, and took out a small pillow to place on the table. It said that men are left and women are right. I should extend my right hand, right. Chen Nian thought of placing his right hand on the small pillow. Dr. Gao took out a handkerchief and covered Chen Nian's wrist, gently counting his 3 fingers on his pulse. Whirr, there was a clattering sound of noisy and hurried footsteps. The first person to enter the door is Mrs. Gu, who is Gu Wangzhou's grandmother. My grandmother was supported by a woman in her 40s, who was probably Jiang Hua's mother. The Yu family. Looking back, Chen Nian was stunned. I saw a man following my grandmother not far or near. The man was dressed in splendid attire, with exquisite patterns embroidered on his long-sleeved cloak. The black and white fabric was as beautiful as an ink painting. On her fair face, there are a pair of narrow phoenix eyes with slightly deep sockets. There are a pair of thick sword eyebrows on the eyes, a high nose bridge, and thin lips that are rosy. This is Gu Wangzhou. I feel much more handsome than the one shown by the bull head mask. Who wouldn't be confused after seeing this handsome guy? No wonder Jiang Hua is putting in so much effort to get him. Hua, my good child, how are you doing now? The old lady saw Jiang Hua sitting well at the table and quickly stepped forward to pick up Jiang Hua's hand, gently patting and comforting her. Hua, when Xia Xiao came to report, your grandmother and I were both scared to death. We didn't have to hurry and come to see you, but where else did we feel uncomfortable? Grandmother, it's me who is not good. I ate some gailingao and talked about it. It got stuck when I didn't notice. It won't happen again. Chen Nian quickly got up, hugged his grandmother, and imitated Jiang Hua's obedient appearance to make the elders happy. Good child, Zhou'er, come and comfort Hua quickly. Grandmother let go of Jiang Hua, turned around and pulled Gu Wangzhou behind her, murmuring softly, Zhou'er, on the way here, we agreed that Dr. Gao would be there. Even if you were to act, you would have to act in a way that aligns with me. Love and kindness. Chen Nian. It was forced to pull Gu Wangzhou over. Just as Chen Nian was lost in thought, the scene before him suddenly darkened, and strands of sandalwood fragrance lingered in his nose, unexpectedly being carried into his arms by Gu Wangzhou. Gu Wangzhou's deep voice rang in his ears, don't be afraid of Hua, my husband is here. With a face full of indulgence, she gently comforted and raised her hand to gently stroke Jiang Hua's furry head. Chen Nian. Has Gu Wangzhou been taken away? Why is it different from what the bull head mask says? This expression and tone don't seem to be acting. Too fucking gentle. Chen Nian was immersed in a warm embrace, his heart beating wildly. Dr. Gao, may I know if my wife's health is seriously affected? Gu Wangzhou looked at the imperial physician, but still hugged Jiang Hua. Return to the prince, the queen's pulse is gradually stabilizing. Just take a rest, and I will prescribe another pair of medicine for the queen to clear her breath and calm her mind. After speaking, he started packing the medicine box and turned around to prescribe medicine. Thank you, doctor. Gu Wangzhou nodded and smiled in gratitude. After the imperial physician left, Gu Wangzhou instantly shook off his sleeve and his gaze became cold and heartless. Chen Nian's whole body suddenly cooled down, and the warm embrace no longer existed, as if everything just now was just an illusion. Gu Wangzhou turned around and bid farewell to his grandmother and mother. Grandmother, mother, and Zhou'er still have some matters to attend to, so we won't stay here any longer. After speaking, he lifted his robe, stepped out of the door, and left. Zhou'er. You sure reached out to grab Gu Wangzhou, but did not achieve his wish. This child, Hua, doesn't need to pay attention to him. Although he may appear cold on the surface, he is actually a warm-hearted person. In the future, if you stay together for a long time, Zhou'er will definitely know that you treat him well. You sure pulled Jiang Hua's right hand and lightly patted it. Mother, I don't blame him. If it weren't for my deceit, brother Wangzhou wouldn't have married someone he didn't love. Chen Nian tried to pretend to be pitiful, tears swirling in her eyes as if she had suffered great injustice. Chapter 3. Past Events, 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I heard the little ghost say that Jiang Hua gave Gu Wangzhou a stunning glance, a fleeting glance, and from then on, his heart was filled with him, searching for life and death for him. Her elder brother is a down-to-earth younger sister control, unable to bear his sister's struggles for love, so he assisted the tyrant in his tyranny, betrayed his friend Gu Wangzhou, and tricked his friend into sending her to bed. Nonsense. Our Hua is not worthy of that stinky kid at all. He's in good fortune and doesn't know what good fortune he is. Besides, if it weren't for you accepting this stinky kid, what would everyone be like outside? It's simply unbearable. You trembled with anger when she mentioned the rumors outside. At that time, Gu Wangzhou was in a period of career growth. It is unknown who spread the rumor that Gu Wangzhou did not like women and had a fetish for long yang. Originally, Gu Jia ignored the attitude of being upright is not afraid of shadows tilting, and being upright is not afraid of shoes tilting. Who ever thought? In recent years, rumors have been escalating, and flowers are almost spreading. Grandmother and the Yu family are very anxious now. They quickly advised Gu Wangzhou to find a lady from a prestigious family who is knowledgeable and courteous. But who knew, Gu Wangzhou didn't agree. His original words back then were, "Grandmother, now that Zhou has reached adulthood, she knows her own intentions. If she cannot spend the rest of her life with someone she loves in just a few decades, what is the meaning of life?" From then on, my grandmother and the Yu family began to force Gu Wangzhou to look around at unmarried girls in the capital. From girls to women and then to women. Gu Wangzhou's bright eyes and majestic demeanor have captivated many beautiful women in the capital. It is said that the Gu family has plans to marry Gu Wangzhou, and many high-ranking officials and dignitaries have given up their face and directly brought matchmakers to propose for their daughter's marriage. General Jiang and Lord He are the people who love their daughter dearly. How could Gu Wangzhou refuse one by one? Many people were surprised to hear that the Jiang He family was going to propose marriage. You should know that the Jiang family is the most famous in the capital city. The head of the Jiang family, Jiang Linfeng, and the second young master of the Jiang family, Jiang Changyun, have been guarding the border for years, making contributions and achievements. The eldest young master of the Jiang family also has a smooth career path. Although Jiang Hua, the legitimate daughter of the Jiang family, is of limited talent and knowledge, her beauty is also among the best in the capital. There is also the He family. The He family is not as strong as the Jiang family, but they have been appreciated by the government recently. He Jinshu, the only daughter of the He family, is a beautiful woman with both talent and beauty. Privately, people say that He Jinshu and Prince Gu are the perfect match. But Gu Wangzhou refused. This has added to the gossip of those idle people, making the rumor that Lord Gu doesn't like women and is good at Longyang even more evidence-based. Yu Shi was so angry that she almost tied Gu Wangzhou up and got married. Big brother Jiang Hua held Jiang Baichuan's arms with both hands and swayed them left and right, her face full of grievances and coquettishness. "You know I only like brother Wangzhou. In this life, I won't marry anyone except him. Brother, you are his best friend, so please advise him. Brother Hua, there's more to this good man in the capital than just Gu Wangzhou. Why are you so brainless? Brother will definitely find a suitable husband for you to protect Hua from bullying for a lifetime." Jiang Baichuan reached out to grab the broken hair in Jiang Hua's ear, her eyes full of tenderness. Jiang Baichuan certainly hopes that his younger sister can marry Prince Gu, who has an outstanding demeanor and a prominent family background in the capital. However, Gu Wangzhou has no romantic relationship with Jiang Hua. When it comes to protection, only brother Wangzhou's identity can protect me comprehensively. Looking around the entire capital, besides the official family, who else can compare to brother Wangzhou? Jiang Baichuan remained silent for a long time and finally agreed, "Okay. Since Hua likes it, my brother will give it another piece of advice." "Yeah. I knew my big brother was the best to me." Jiang Hua's eyes lit up in an instant, and she happily hugged Jiang Baichuan, swaying and throwing coquettishness. Jiang Baichuan looked at Jiang Hua, who was happy like a child, and indulgently extended his index finger on Jiang Hua's forehead. Does Hua really want to marry Gu Wangzhou without regret? Truly, never regret. Jiang Hua immediately looked up and straightened his chest, with a resolute expression on his face. "Okay, brother, come find a way. I hope you don't blame your brother for his kindness in the future." Jiang Baichuan patted Jiang Hua's head and his expression dimmed. "Don't worry, brother. I won't do it. The bustling streets are crowded with bustling crowds, lined with shops, taverns, tea houses, pawn shops, workshops. A carriage slowly drove over from a distance and stopped in front of General Zhang's mansion. A slender and fair hand with distinct joints pulled open the pearl curtain on the carriage. Gu Wangzhou leaned out of the carriage, picked up his robe, and walked step by step down the stairs to enter General Zhang's mansion. Dudu. Gu Wangzhou stood sideways in front of the study door, lifting his right hand and bending his slender index finger to lightly tap on the door. Come in. The man's deep voice came from inside the room. With a squeak, the door opened. Baichuan, Gu Wangzhou stepped into the door and looked at Jiang Baichuan, who was lying at his desk and practicing calligraphy. Why did you invite me here today? What's wrong? You can't invite Prince Gu to come and reminisce about old times if you have nothing to do. Jiang Baichuan put down his brush and stood up, bypassing the corner of the table. He came up and hugged Gu Wangzhou's broad shoulder. Come on, sit here and have a cup of tea. This is the newly picked Enshi Jade Dew this year. You have a good taste. Spring Zhan, who had been standing at the table for a long time, was holding a wooden tray with 2 brewed hot teas on it. Gu Wangzhou was pressed onto a chair by Jiang Baichuan, watching Chuanzhan place 2 cups of hot tea on the table. Jiang Baichuan also turned around and sat in his seat, waved his hand, and Chuanzhan bowed and withdrew. I heard that the Jiang family has another good news. Yeah, my silly little brother is not very cultured, but he likes to lead troops in war. He really looks like a father and son to my father. Puff. Gu Wangzhou chuckled lightly. If Chang Yun knew you were talking about him like this, he might have another argument with you. On the matter of convenience. Am I afraid of him? But the official family seems to be becoming increasingly wary of the Jiang family. Baichuan, tell your father and younger brother to be careful and cautious in everything they do. Also, the official family has been summoning Lord He frequently lately, for unknown reasons. Gu Wangzhou looked serious on his face, his left hand resting on the corner of the table, and his index finger occasionally tapping on the table, as if thinking about something. What you don't even know is probably extremely secretive. Now that the Jiang family is in a dilemma, everyone is afraid of not being able to avoid it. Can you personally tell me this? Baichuan thanks the prince on behalf of the Jiang family. As he spoke, he stood up and bowed. We grew up together since we were young, so there's no need to say thank you. Gu Wangzhou quickly stood up and raised his hand to stop Jiang Baichuan. Sit down quickly. If there really comes a day, can Lord Gu promise me something? Jiang Baichuan sat back in his chair, his face heavy. Chapter 4. Past Events, 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What's up? Gu Wangzhou picked up the tea cup on his left hand, lifted the lid with his right hand, blew, and tasted it. My mother passed away early, and there was only one girl at home, Hua. Our father and son didn't know how to raise her, so they let her play around recklessly. However, Hua, although she was spoiled and playful, was actually a kind and good child in her heart. If in the future, our Jiang family. Jiang Baichuan's eyes drooped and he paused. Please, Lord Gu, take good care of Hua in our past relationship. Don't worry, I will treat Hua like my own sister. But, you know, Hua is happy in her heart. Baichuan. I have something important to attend to, so I'll say goodbye first. Gu Wangzhou's language suddenly became sharp. He put down his cup of tea and stood up to leave. As soon as I lifted my foot, I felt dizzy and my body involuntarily leaned to one side. With a loud bang, Gu Wangzhou placed one hand on the table and the other on his forehead. Jiang Baichuan. How could you? I'm sorry, Wangzhou. For the sake of Hua I can only do this. The voice of Jiang Baichuan drifted into Gu Wangzhou's ears, and then it darkened before his eyes, causing him to lose consciousness. Spring cup, summer spoon. Jiang Baichuan took a step forward and quickly supported Gu Wangzhou, which was tilting to the side. With a squeak, Chuanzhan and Xiaoxiao hurriedly pushed the door and rushed over. They took the unconscious Gu Wangzhou from Jiang Baichuan's hand and followed him towards Jiang Hua's boudoir. Jiang Baichuan stood in front of the door, silent for a long time, but finally determined to push open the door and enter. Hua! Why are you? Looking at Jiang Hua, who should have been in a coma, sitting upright on the edge of the bed, Jiang Baichuan couldn't help but be taken aback. Immediately after a moment of thought, I understood and glared sharply at the spring cup and summer spoon standing by supporting Gu Wangzhou. Brother, don't look at them. I forced them to say it. Jiang Hua stood in front of Jiang Baichuan and reached out to grab his arm. Hua, have you figured it out? There's still time for regret now. As long as you don't want to, I'll take him away immediately. Jiang Baichuan withdrew his gaze and gently looked at his determined younger sister. Brother, I don't regret it. Hua, it's my brother who is not good and has wronged you. After the matter is completed, if that guy Gu Wangzhou dares to treat you badly, you must tell me and see if I can help him. Jiang Baichuan patted the back of Jiang Hua's head. Brother, don't worry, I will definitely be happy. Jiang Hua smiled sweetly, we will proceed according to the original plan. Okay. Jiang Baichuan turned around and left. Spring cup, summer spoon. Help brother Wangzhou onto the bed, then you can step back. Wait a minute. Half an hour later, Xia Xiao went to the Gu Wang mansion to inform brother Wangzhou's mother, you sure, that the prince had drunk and accidentally walked into the wrong room. Yes, miss. After a rustling sound, there was only Gu Wangzhou lying unconscious on the bed and Hua Jiang sitting by the bed, gently caressing his face with his eyes. The golden afterglow of the afternoon fell on Gu Wangzhou's face, softening his sharp and angular appearance. He lay quietly in bed, beautiful and gentle. Not as cold and difficult to approach as in the daytime, Jiang Hua thought, extending her fingertips to slowly outline the contours of his face. From the hairline to the arches of the eyebrows, to the tip of the nose, and then to the rosy thin lips, I slid down all the way, looped around my Adam's apple, and then lifted the tightly fastened collar along my neck. Brother Wangzhou, don't blame me. I really like you. But you always don't look at me. Why is that? Every time I see He Jinshu joking with you, I feel so sad. Why does she know how to write poetry and songs? With her seductive skills, she has been clinging to you. But now it's not important anymore. Jiang Hua propped her right hand against Gu Wangzhou's ear, slowly bent down, kissed his warm lips, and gently pulled open his belt with her left hand, slowly taking off his clothes one by one. Madam, you, please slow down. Prince Gu is right ahead. Xia Xiao walked ahead with hurried steps. Listening to the commotion outside the door, Jiang Hua knew that the time for drugging was approaching. Bang bang. At the moment the door was opened, Gu Wangzhou was probably startled and suddenly opened his eyes, sitting up. Zhou'er. You let out an angry chuckle. Gu Wangzhou still felt a bit dizzy, his eyes hazy, and he shook his head with his forehead. Mother. After seeing the newcomer clearly, my mind suddenly became clear, and I scanned the scene in front of me, then my mind became clear. Hurry up and grab the robe from the bed, drape it over his body, pull up the bedding, and cover Jiang Hua's face. The sound of footsteps echoed again. Hua, how are you? At this moment, Jiang Baichuan's wife, Song Shi, also hurriedly arrived. Seeing Yu Shi on the side, he bent down and bowed, Madam Yu. Yu's initial anger gradually calmed down, and now rumors are circulating outside. Since everything is settled, it's better to let nature take its course and facilitate this marriage, which can also be considered a matter of concern. Madam Song, please inform Mr. Jiang that since that's the case, our Gu family will definitely give the Jiang family an explanation. After speaking, he turned around and left. Afterwards, it was natural to start the marriage process. carrying out the 3 books and 6 rituals, including accepting gifts, asking names, and receiving blessings on the night of her wedding. Jiang Hua, dressed in a phoenix crown and xia pei, sat on the big red blanket, smiling and waiting for her beloved to lift the red veil for her, but the groom had not yet returned. I don't know how long it took, but just as Jiang Hua was feeling tired and hungry, he was on the verge of collapse. With a creak, the door was opened. Jiang Hua sat up straight in an instant, listening to the steady footsteps getting closer and her heart pounding fiercely. With the sound of footsteps abruptly coming to an end, Jiang Hua saw a pair of red happy shoes parked in front of her through the red cap embroidered with lotus flowers. Her delicate jade fingers on her knees couldn't help but clench and clench. However, after an unknown amount of time, Gu Wanzhou's indifferent voice rang out in the silent air. "Since I promised your elder brother to take care of you, I won't break my promise. In the Gu mansion, you can be as free as in the Jiang family. But remember, I can't have a romantic relationship with you. I didn't know it before, I don't know it now, and I won't do it in the future. It's getting late, you should rest first." Turning around is about to leave. Jiang Hua pulled off the cover and stood up abruptly, tears filling her eyes. "Where are you going, brother Wangzhou? Today is our joyful day. Do you really want me to stay alone in the empty room?" Jiang Hua tightly gripped the red cap in her hand. The lotus flower tied together seemed humiliating and mocking. She suppressed the sourness in her eyes, tears swirling in her eyes, but she didn't even dare to blink, afraid that tears would slip away. She cried and spent her exquisite makeup to displease Gu Wangzhou. Chapter 5. Prince, here is Sugar Man for you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gu Wangzhou stopped his steps. From now on, I will stay in the guest room. Someone will come to tidy up the things in the room tomorrow. Brother Wangzhou, do you just hate me so much? Gu Wangzhou didn't turn his head back, but lightly replied with a single word. Yes. Then he opened the door and walked away. Jiang Huaqiang's strong body suddenly collapsed, sitting beside the bed with both hands propped up on the edge of the bed, barely falling down. Tears swirled in my eyes, but in the end, they slipped down uncontrollably. Although Gu Wanzhou's words were decisive, Jiang Hua never missed what she wanted from childhood to adulthood. She didn't believe that Gu Wangzhou, who had always been gentle and graceful, would be so heartless. As long as I wholeheartedly treat him well, I hope Brother Zhou can definitely see me. From then on, Jiang Hua embarked on her long journey of pursuing her husband. Brother Wangzhou, this is the congee I made for you to nourish your stomach. Please try it. Brother Wangzhou, this is a purse that I personally sewn. Brother Wangzhou. But he never responded. Xia Qi, why doesn't Brother Wangzhou like me? Am I not good enough or beautiful enough? Jiang Hua looked at herself in the mirror and raised her hand to gently stroke her cheeks. Where did the princess say? In my servant's heart, the princess is the most beautiful woman in the world. Perhaps the prince doesn't know the princess enough. Xia Xiao stood behind her in a bun. Guilingao has the effect of beauty and beauty. Please prepare more for me in the future. Yes, princess. Huar, please rest well. Your mother and I won't disturb you anymore. My grandmother patted the back of Chen Nian's fair hands and was then supported by the Yu family to leave. Chen Nian bid farewell to his grandmother and the Yu family, then collapsed on the bed and began to think about the next step. How to conquer the male lead. She was pondering in her mind the way Jiang Hua and Gu Wangzhou got along, and couldn't help but mutter. TSK, this Jiang Hua is a perfect sweet girl character. I didn't expect Gu Wangzhou to still dislike it. So what kind of person does he like? Gentle and virtuous? Or charming and bright? Let me think about how those costume dramas seduce male leads. Hey. Got it. Thinking of the novels and ancient puppetry that I have read before, which one of the protagonists of time travel is not to first visit those fireworks and willow alleys. Everyone has come, let's do as the Romans do in Rome, and the sisters there are all skilled in handling men. With this in mind, Chen Nian decided to go to the Red Sails building to apprentice and learn skills. Just do as you say, and as soon as a fish straightened up, he jumped out of bed, tidied up a bit, and started preparing to buy equipment. Grandmother, mother, Chen Nian came up with a solution and his mood naturally became clear. I want to go to the market for a stroll. Does my grandmother and mother have anything she wants to buy to eat? We don't have any, Huar. Here, take these and buy whatever you like. You don't have to save money for that kid. You took Chen Nian's small hand and stuffed a bag of broken silver into her pocket. Also, Huar, it's been a long time since Zhou'er went shopping with you. Coincidentally, he's taking a break today. Let's take him along. If he doesn't listen, you can tell him it's my old lady who asked him to go. By the way, hold hands or something, that would be great. Mrs. Gu is aware of the rumors outside and is also determined to promote the relationship between her grandson and daughter. Law, striving to have a great-grandson as soon as possible. Grandmother, mother, you are so kind to Huar. Chen Nian's heart flooded with warm currents. Since arriving in this unfamiliar world, the love between her grandmother and the Yu family has not only given Chen Nian warmth, but also a sense of belonging, making her no longer feel alone. Chen Nian, holding a heavy money bag, happily arrived at the door of Gu Wangzhou's study. After hesitating for a quarter of an hour, he finally raised his hand, dudu, enter. Inside came the calm voice of Gu Wangzhou. Chen Nian pushed open the door and saw Gu Wangzhou standing at the desk in splendid attire, with a dignified demeanor. He was wielding a pen in his right hand and vigorously waving on rice paper. Chen Nian was momentarily stunned and said, "Tsk, it's so pleasing to the eye. It's so eye-catching." Looking around, the furnishings inside the house are simple and atmospheric, with strands of sandalwood fragrance lingering in the air. Prince, my grandmother asked you to accompany me to go shopping. If you don't go, my grandmother. Okay, I'll accompany you. Gu Wangzhou didn't look up from beginning to end until he put down the wolf hair brush in his hand. As soon as Chen Nian left Gu Mansion, he was deeply attracted by the bustling streets. The streets in the capital are crisscrossing, with bustling crowds coming and going in the streets. Merchants and vendors are shouting to attract customers, and a faint aroma of wine comes from the air, creating a lively atmosphere. Chen Nian was confined by heavy academic pressure in modern times, especially when he met a strict mentor in his first year of graduate school. He felt that the world was dull and lifeless, like a walking corpse, with no soul, no thoughts, only a tired body, ready to collapse at any moment. My heart has never been as relaxed and happy as it is now, and the world in my eyes is like a filter. My mood has relaxed, and the world is naturally different. Chen Nian couldn't help but sigh. The world is so colorful, and the air is so fresh and sweet. With Jiang Hua's identity and status, shouldn't I be able to happily make salted fish here? Prince, look over there, there are sugar people. Chen Nian used to watch historical dramas and always saw vendors selling sugar, which was both fresh and curious. However, she had always lived in a small county town and rarely had the opportunity to come into contact with these traditional crafts. Not only can you see it now, but there is also a chance to eat it. Chen Nian was even happier, like a child, pulling Gu Wangzhou's sleeve and running to the stall. Grandpa, help me get 2 sugar figurines. I want this. Which one do you want, Prince? Looking at all kinds of sugar people, Chen Nian's happy eyes seemed to be filled with stars, and the corners of her mouth curved beautifully. While feeling happy, she also didn't forget to use her elbow to touch the indifferent Gu Wangzhou beside her. Anything is fine, choose what you like. Gu Wangzhou looked at Chen Nian, who was just as happy as wagging her tail, and for some reason, he couldn't bear to ruin her mood. He thought to himself, indeed, he is still a child. Then help me take this again. Okay. Here, take it. The old man handed Chen Nian the sugar figurine she had selected. Thank you, Grandpa. Chen Nian handed over a few pieces of silver, took the sugar figurine, and turned around to give one to Gu Wangzhou, who was standing tall with jade. Here you are. Gu Wangzhou looked at the sugar figurine handed to him, followed by the sugar figurine, and looked at the girl behind him. He smiled sweetly at himself, but for some reason, he refused for a long time. Raising his hand to pick it up, just as he was about to touch the bamboo stick, Chen Nian's eyes flickered with a hint of cunning, and he quickly withdrew his hand in the next second. I bought this, I won't give it to you. Chapter 6. Strategy Treasure. Blasphemy Clothes. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Watching Gu Wangzhou's slender fingers hover in the air, his face looked incredulous. Chen Nian suddenly chuckled, as if he had discovered something extremely interesting. The gentle breeze was blowing, and Chen Nian's hair was fluttering in the wind. His bright smile shook Gu Wangzhou's eyes like the afternoon sunshine. He couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Jianghua. It seemed like something was different. Gu Wangzhou recalled the past Jianghua in his mind. Although he always smiled at him, it was a kind of pleasing, flattering, and self-losing smile, as if there was nothing else worth her longing for in her world except for Gu Wangzhou. Every time Gu Wangzhou saw Jianghua's smile, he felt uneasy all over, as if in her eyes he was a coveted delicacy. He doesn't like it. I'm lying to you here you are. Chen Nian stopped laughing and once again handed Sugar Man to Gu Wangzhou. Seeing that he hadn't reached out for a long time, he coaxed, this time it's true, I'll send it to you. Gu Wangzhou still didn't take action. Chen Nian shook the sugar figurine in her hand, really don't want it. I'll take it away if I don't want it. There was a long silence, just as Chen Nian was about to retract it, suddenly Gu Wangzhou reached out his left hand and grabbed her wrist. His right hand slowly lifted up and took the sugar figurine from Chen Nian's hand, giving him a wicked smile. There's no reason not to let prey come before your eyes. Now it's Chen Nian's turn to be shocked. How could someone smile so seductively? Chen Nian stared at his eyes with a trance, as if the bottom of the leisurely pond was sinking deeper and deeper. My wrist suddenly loosened, and I could only hear Gu Wangzhou's suddenly cold voice in my ear, it's hard to change one's true nature. After speaking, he brushed his sleeves and left. Chen Nian. Ah. What the hell? How to say that being angry means being angry? What sin did I create in my previous life? This life strategy is to guide you, this unpredictable guy. Abdominal slander belongs to abdominal slander, but Chen Nian still quickened his pace and followed closely. Hey! Prince, can you wait for me? Chen Nian strolled around the street market with great enthusiasm, every shop and every object had a great attraction to her. After a while, I pulled Gu Wangzhou to see the dazzling array of jade pendants, and then went to buy fragrant snacks and pastries. Strolling around, I arrived at the ready-to-wear shop. Chen Nian thought that it would be more convenient to go to the Hongyan building in the future to find ladies dressed in men's clothing, so she lifted her skirt and stepped into the store door. Gu Wangzhou looked up at the plaque and helplessly followed behind. Shop owner, help me get 2 men's clothes. Chen Nian scanned the furnishings inside the room, looking at various fabrics and ready-to-wear clothes hanging on the walls. I don't need it. Gu Wangzhou's face is still as cold as ice and frost, like the flowers of the mountain standing with their hands down. I don't care if you need it, I'm not buying it for you to wear. Chen Nian remembered Gu Wangzhou's previous attitude of getting angry for no reason, and murmured in a low voice of dissatisfaction. What are you saying? Gu Wangzhou frowned, and the temperature around him instantly cooled down a bit. He glanced at Chen Nian beside him. Chen Nian shrank his head and smiled awkwardly, he. I mean, my lord, you have an elegant and noble figure, and you don't need me to worry about your food and clothing. He. Gu Wangzhou withdrew his gaze and regained his previously indifferent expression. Prince, madam, I don't know which young master is going to wear it. What style do you want? You can come here to choose. These are all new fabrics that have just arrived, including Sichuan brocade, cloud brocade, snow forging. There are freshly made clothes over there. If you like them, you can also go for an interview to try them out. The shop owner warmly welcomed the guests upon seeing them, with a plump body twisting its waist and slightly raising its hand to salute. They then led Chen Nian and Gu Wangzhou along the way to introduce them. Is there anything suitable for me to wear? Chen Nian followed the shop owner's guidance and wandered around. I have long heard that the young masters of wealthy families have a lot of fun and variety in their rooms, but I never expected that the princes and consorts would be like this. The shop owner looked, I understand everything, and smiled, saying, of course there is. I looked around and measured Chen Nian's body size, and soon ordered someone to bring over a dozen ready-to-wear clothes. Chen Nian thought of the gentle and jade-like male lead in the ancient puppet drama who always appears in white clothes, and there is a timeless saying that goes, except for the 3 feet of snow on your body, who in the world should wear white clothes? Finally, he picked out 2 sets of white robes, packed them and handed them to Gu Wangzhou, who stood with his hands down beside him. He smiled sweetly at him again. Could you please help me with it, Prince? I can't see you being so leisurely, Chen Nian thought to himself. Gu Wangzhou was taken aback, his face full of surprise. Chen Nian noticed that Gu Wangzhou had no intention of reaching out and immediately began to pretend to be weak, frowning and pleading with Chu Baba. The prince has taken my sugar figurine, so please do me a little favor. I have too many pastries in my hand, and I can't finish them all. Please kindly help me, please. I don't know if it's just acting coquettish, but Gu Wangzhou's brow furrowed even deeper, probably disgusted by Chen Nian's artificial tone. When going out, in order to prevent my grandmother from sending someone to monitor their every move, I didn't let the servants follow. It's fortunate now that it's my turn to do these difficult tasks. Gu Wangzhou complained inwardly, but still calmly took the packaged robe from Chen Nian's hand. Prince, Madam's relationship is really good. She really envies others. The shopkeeper watched them interact with envy. If that old man from the Minu family knew how to hurt people like the prince, Minu wouldn't have to work so hard and show her face. Sister is our heroine among women. As the saying goes, if you rely on the mountains, you will fall, and if you rely on everyone, you will run. We women can also support half of the sky, and in the future, we can earn money and spend it ourselves. How graceful. I envy sister for having such courage. Chen Nian kept calling out to the shop owner like she had eaten some preserved fruit, feeling sweet inside. Whatever she said, she wanted to give Chen Nian another set of sexy little molestation clothes to contribute to their sex life. Come on, come on, come on. The shop owner pulled Chen Nian to the small attic above with a smile on his face. Madam, take a look here. They are all good things for holding on to men. As he spoke, he pushed open the door and with a clang, Chen Nian widened his eyes, almost dropping his chin in shock. I saw all kinds of small obscene clothes neatly hanging on the hangers inside the house. Chen Nian curiously walked in and checked them one by one, sometimes feeling the texture of the fabric, and sometimes looking at the shapes and styles, feeling a crazy sigh in his heart. This kind of hazy, subtle and introverted beauty is more effective than any aphrodisiac. Even a girl like me can't resist it. The shop owner enthusiastically introduced Chen Nian one by one, as if offering a treasure. There is a popular belly-hugging technique in the Han Dynasty. The back is exposed without a back patch, embroidered with brightly colored and beautiful patterns. There is the popular Hizi from the Tang Dynasty. Its upper chest and back are exposed, and it is draped with a transparent silk veil, which is faintly visible. There is also the popular Huan collar from the Yuan Dynasty. With only 2 intersecting straps connected to the back and a row of floral buckles in front of the body. Chapter 7. Sugar-coated cannonballs. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't know what style Madam likes. You can choose whatever style you like. As long as you like it, madam, I will pack it and send it to your mansion." The shop owner probably had a good time knocking on CP, and then saw that the queen was a grand and humorous person, and her language and behavior became more intimate. Patting Chen Nian's little hand, it seemed like she was truly an experienced elder, encouraging her to bravely try. Even though Chen Nian has been living in modern life for over 20 years, seeing these various sexy little things made her blush with shyness. She tightly grasped the shopkeeper's arm, feeling embarrassed and nervous to the point of stuttering, "Sister, this is not appropriate." Chen Nian was crazy in his heart and roast. Is the ancient elder sister so open-minded? I am a female college student who has been single since birth for more than 20 years, and she directly asked me to use the beauty trick. Is this really good? Not to mention whether Gu Wangzhou gave me the opportunity to wear it or not, even if there is one, his aura of not getting close to strangers lingers around him. If I lose my sense of propriety, he will scratch me alive. Since Madam calls you Miss Min will treat you like a biological sister. Say something unpleasant, the shop owner quietly approached Chen Nian's ear. It is said that this couple has a good relationship and cannot do without harmonious sexual intercourse. You and the prince are still young, like glue every day, but there are still many things to face in the future. If the prince gets tired in the future and has 3 wives and 4 concubines, then we must have some means to firmly grasp the prince's heart. Chen Nian quickly thought in his mind. Yes. In ancient times, men could take concubines. Gu Wangzhou originally didn't like Jiang Hua, and one repeatedly accepted a few beautiful women. Isn't the difficulty of my strategy greatly increased? TSK, you're absolutely right, sister. Alright, sister, could you help me get a few more sets, one for each style? I'll pay. Madame Deliao. The shop owner heard Chen Nian's advice and bought a lot more. He was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth and hurriedly called for someone to come and pack his clothes. Madam, don't worry. With your figure and appearance, wearing a belly bag and gauze like this, the prince will be mesmerized by Madam. I hope so. Chen Nian chuckled awkwardly and thought of the strategic career he would face in the future, which gave him a headache. As I walked out of the store, the sun had gradually set in the west, hanging on the branches like egg yolks. The warm afterglow of the setting sun sprinkled onto the streets. With a gentle breeze blowing, Chen Nian couldn't help but sigh as he saw the bustle of the street gradually becoming deserted. Feeling uncomfortable towards the evening, I drove up to the ancient plain. The sunset is infinitely beautiful, but it's just getting closer to dusk. Just as Chen Nian was enjoying the comfortable breeze and sweet air with his eyes closed, the cold voice of Gu Wangzhou could be heard in his ear. I don't know that you can still write poetry. When did you learn it? Chen Nian was stunned and suddenly remembered that he was currently in a fictional world. No wonder Gu Wangzhou had not heard of this timeless famous poem. Chen Nian was too lazy to explain the copyright issue of this poem and tried to cover it up with an embarrassed smile. A sudden idea. A sudden idea. Does Xiang Wani feel unwell? But I saw that you had an exceptionally happy day. What's wrong? Jiang Baichuan didn't let you go to the market before, or did you keep something from me? Gu Wangzhou tilted his head suspiciously to look at Chen Nian, as if trying to see through her thoughts. He thought to himself, this is no different from the usual street market. Why is Jiang Hua so excited as if she had seen it for the first time? Upon hearing Gu Wangzhou's question, Chen Nian's heart sank and she said, it's over, I'm overjoyed. Can Gu Wangzhou doubt me? If the ancient feudal superstitious people knew about this absurd plot of sudden death, they wouldn't have burned me alive. No, I can't die before I succeed. Stay calm, we can win. Chen Nian's eyes, as black as glass, rolled around and he instantly thought of his words, of course not. My older brother treats me very well, how could he not let me go shopping? But today I went shopping with the prince, and of course I was even happier. The prince is my happy fruit. As long as I am by his side, I will feel very happy. Chen Nian spoke sweetly and didn't forget to raise his signature smile, bright, confident, and bold, bored. Gu Wangzhou looked at Chen Nian's gentle and smiling eyes, as if they were magical, attracting his gaze. He quickly turned his face away, walked around Chen Nian, and left quickly. Prince, don't you walk so fast, wait for me, Prince. Prince, are you shy, Prince? Prince. Seeing Gu Wangzhou walking faster and faster, Chen Nian smiled even more recklessly behind him. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect Gu Wangzhou to have such a thin skin. It's really fun. Little sample, make you doubt me, I can't cure you anymore. Chen Nian held the unfinished cake and bounced after it. Lord, are you tired from carrying so many things so quickly? If it weren't for me not being able to take them, I would have helped the Lord carry them together. It's really hard work, Lord. Jianghua, why didn't I realize you were talking so much before? Gu Wangzhou stopped and turned to gaze at Chen Nian. Chen Nian trembled with fear as he met Gu Wangzhou's cold gaze and muttered to himself, is Gu Wangzhou testing me again? Or is it just a simple question? In my mind, I was scrolling through the way Jianghua and Gu Wangzhou interacted during their lifetime, as if I had been teasing them too much. After thinking about it for a while, Chen Nian decided to use the old method. Maybe if he made Gu Wangzhou shy, he would angrily leave on his own. That's because the prince had never seen me in person before. How did he find out now? Do you mean? The prince, you're starting to care about me. That's great. This is the most important step in promoting our marital relationship. Maybe one day we'll be pregnant. Chen Nian looked at Gu Wangzhou jokingly, speaking more and more upwardly, and more revealing. Shut up. A hint of panic flashed across Gu Wangzhou's face. He withdrew his gaze, threw down a sentence, and then quickly left Chen Nian. Chen Nian secretly rejoiced. Ha ha ha, this move works. After an unknown amount of time, lights began to light up on the street, and the green smoke of burning firewood drifted from the houses on both sides with the fragrance of rice, lingering at the tips of their noses. Smelling the tempting aroma of the rice, Chen Nian's already hungry chest and stomach pressed against his back began to moan. Chen Nian stopped and reached out to touch his flat belly, then looked up at the restaurant that happened to pass by. Lord, how does this restaurant taste? Is it delicious? Gu Wangzhou also stopped and leisurely turned around, looking up at the name of the restaurant. Baixian Tower. I don't know. But I heard your older brother mention that the taste is pretty good. Have you ever tried it? Chen Nian hates it. Why should I ask him extra questions? It's like lifting a stone and smashing your own foot. Gu Wangzhou is the same, isn't he just having a meal? How could you be so cautious about such a small matter? Chapter 8. Meeting the Matchmaker. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No, you don't know, my eldest brother likes to eat alone without me. When he was a child, he sneaked into the kitchen without taking me and my second brother. Chen Nian was fabricating things recklessly, feeling uneasy inside. I'm sorry, big brother. I didn't mean to smear you, it's all because of Gu Wangzhou, this old fox. Oh. I didn't expect Jiang Baichuan to have such a side. Gu Wangzhou's eyes were fixed on Chen Nian as if he were staring at prey. He. Yes, yes. Chen Nian smiled nervously, so. Are you hungry, Prince? Why don't we go in and take a look? Okay, Gu Wangzhou withdrew his obviously incredulous gaze and nodded. Just as Chen Nian was about to step quickly into the restaurant, he heard a sound of, yo ha, yo my daughter pays her respects to the prince and queen. Chen Nian paused and saw a middle-aged grandmother walking towards her, wearing a bright red robe embroidered with brightly colored flowers. Her face was full of smiles. Chen Nian saw a fleeting memory of the person in her mind. Wu Mama. One of the top matchmakers in the capital, she is known for her eloquence and can even tell you that she has survived even if she dies. Perhaps it's a career issue. Wu Mama not only has excellent eloquence, but also often wanders around in the melon fields, mastering various gossip resources. Chen Nian believes that the Good Longyang incident, which caused a lot of trouble in the city recently, must have contributed a lot. Remembering what my grandmother said before going out, it seems that her grandmother invited Gu Wangzhou to come shopping with her to block this leisurely crowd. My grandmother and the Yu family treated me very well. Chen Nian thought that in order to reassure the two of them, he would do his best to reshape Gu Wangzhou's sexual orientation. It's actually Grandma Wu, Chen Nian watched as she gradually approached. She took a big step and came to Gu Wangzhou's side, taking her arm and pulling it fiercely. Gu Wangzhou was caught off guard, and before he could react, half of his body tilted towards Chen Nian due to inertia. You. Gu Wangzhou was caught off guard and turned his head to question Chen Nian what he was doing. Suddenly, he saw her face, which was suddenly close at hand, right in front of those glass-like eyes. Gu Wangzhou's mind suddenly became confused, and his questioning abruptly came to an end. Chen Yangang stood on tiptoe, wanting to whisper something in Gu Wangzhou's ear. But he suddenly turned his head and was stunned by the gaze in front of him. The two pairs of eyes suddenly intertwined, and both sides were slightly stunned. After an unknown amount of time, the ambiguous aura lingering around their bodies became increasingly strong. Gu Wangzhou coughed lightly, and his slightly flushed cheeks twisted unnaturally. Chen Nian's eyes were also flustered, and he quickly put down his tiptoe. After a moment of silence, he slightly looked up and approached Gu Wangzhou, placing his hand in his ear and whispered, "Lord, Wu Mama is a talkative person. I'm afraid there were rumors about you a few days ago. Anyway, for the sake of your grandmother and mother, please cooperate with me, Lord. This is a good opportunity to correct your name, and I must seize it." After speaking, he immediately relaxed his strength, but still gently wrapped his arm around Gu Wangzhou, pretending to be very intimate. Gu Wangzhou stood beside Chen Nian in a daze, feeling a bit uneasy when he remembered the few seconds he had just looked at each other. He wanted to pull out his arm, but Chen Nian noticed and tightly held it, unable to move. Listening to what Chen Nian said seemed reasonable, so he compromised and let her go. Wu Mama soon came to Chen Nian and Gu Wangzhou, bending down and raising her hand to salute. Glancing quickly from top to bottom, it finally landed on their arms, which were held together, and smiled, "Hey yo, are you here to go shopping, my lord and queen? My daughter is really going out to meet a noble person. TSK, looking at the love between my lord and queen, I really envy others. I think my daughter even told my lord a matchmaker back then. How about saying that my lord and queen are destined to be together? After all these twists and turns, we will still be a family in the end." Wu Mama waved a handkerchief in her right hand and chuckled. "Yes, Wu Mama. My lord is afraid that I will be tired. Don't you think you will help me carry things? This man is married, so naturally he knows he cares for his wife. Do you think so, my lord?" Chen Nian looked at Gu Wangzhou with a deep affection on his face, like a young boy and girl in a period of passionate love, with a heart full of spring. A moment of silence. Chen Nian saw that Gu Wangzhou did not answer, so he raised his wrist and lightly rubbed his finger on the back of his hand. "Prince." A tingling sensation came from Gu Wangzhou's hand, and he calmed down and turned his head to look at Chen Nian, with a gentle smile on his lips. "What Empress Ai said is absolutely right. Hey, the prince and queen are really. Wu Mama, it's getting late and my grandmother and mother are still waiting for the king and queen to come home for dinner." Wu Mama was interrupted by Gu Wangzhou as soon as she spoke. "Empress Ai, it's time for us to go home." Gu Wangzhou looked at Chen Nian with a stronger smile. Okay. Looking at the intoxicating smile, Chen Nian had already been obsessed with all kinds of meat and vegetables. Coupled with the ambiguous atmosphere just now, her heart was pounding with excitement. I don't know what Gu Wangzhou said, just nod and agree. Chen Nian thought to himself that he had truly experienced the idiom beautiful and delicious and really wanted to overthrow it when Chen Nian was still addicted to beauty. Gu Wangzhou turned his head, looked ahead, and pulled Chen Nian away quickly. Gu Wangzhou walked with long legs and soon disappeared from Wu Mama's sight. Chen Nian's calves couldn't keep up with Gu Wangzhou. She was so tired that she was panting heavily. When she turned around, she found that Wu Mama had long disappeared, so she let go of Gu Wangzhou's arm and stopped breathing heavily. I said, "Prince, are we being chased by ghosts behind us? Why are we walking so fast?" Chen Nian pinched his slightly bent waist with both hands, so tired that he even started speaking intermittently. "It's nothing. If you're tired, rest here first. I'll go back to the mansion first, and let the Gu mansion carriage pick you up later." Gu Wangzhou stopped to look at Chen Nian, whose forehead was oozing a thin layer of sweat, and couldn't help but think to himself. This is an excellent opportunity to spend time alone with Gu Wangzhou. How could Chen Nian easily miss it? I'm not tired, my lord. Chen Nian immediately straightened up and ran a few steps to catch up. Look, I can still run. Let's go back together. Gu Wangzhou looked at her in silence, then turned around and left. Chen Nian. A straight man is a straight man. You can't even learn from the ancient puppet male lead. What would a princess hold? You're really clueless, no wonder you got married so late, you old man. The sky gradually darkened, and a few stars hung in the sky. Gu Wangzhou and Chen Nian walked in front of and behind the spacious street, with only the sound of their footsteps remaining quiet. Chen Nian couldn't bear such a quiet atmosphere and began searching for topics in her mind. Chapter 9. Do you like men? You are listening at novelfull.audio. A flash of inspiration flashed in Chen Nian's mind as he thought of the question he had been wanting to ask. "Prince, may I ask you a question?" Chen Nian quickened his pace and came to the left of Gu Wangzhou, walking side by side with him. "What is the problem?" Gu Wangzhou still looked ahead and walked forward with his long legs. "Let's talk about it first. If I ask the prince, I won't get angry. Since you know that I will be angry, then don't speak up." Chen Nian was taken aback for a moment. According to the gentle and understanding male protagonist, he should answer. "It's okay, just ask if you want to know anything." Chen Nian felt depressed for a moment, and he was not a very understanding character. After a moment of silence, the desire to ask grew stronger and stronger, and finally spoke up. "Prince, do you really like men?" Chen Nian tilted her head to look into Gu Wangzhou's eyes and asked cautiously. Gu Wangzhou's mouth twitched and a sharp gaze cast towards Chen Nian. Chen Nian was so frightened that his hair stood upright, and his waist and back unconsciously straightened. As he stepped forward, he gradually moved away from Gu Wangzhou. Don't be angry, Chen Nian immediately raised his hand, attempting to block Gu Wangzhou's gaze with his palm. "Everyone says that, I'm just curious to ask. I don't like it." Gu Wangzhou withdrew his gaze and continued to take steps towards his home. "Why haven't you been married for so long, Prince?" "I don't want to." "What do you think of He Jinshu and Miss He?" "Not much." "Don't you think she's both talented and beautiful, versatile?" "I don't think so." Upon hearing Gu Wangzhou's answer, Chen Nian felt at ease. He neither liked men nor the famous beauties in the capital, so he still had a chance to win the prince's heart. Thinking of this, Chen Nian couldn't help but feel happy, as there is still hope in looking back and forth to modern times. No difficult work, only brave thinking. "So how do you feel about me?" Chen Nian extended his slender index finger like a scallion root and pointed at himself, thinking to himself, "Anyway, let's first test Jiang Hua's impression in his heart." Gu Wangzhou stopped and turned to look at Chen Nian silently. "What's wrong, Prince?" why haven't you left? Chen Nian also stopped and was stared at by Gu Wangzhou, feeling uneasy in his heart. He began to have wild thoughts. Can Gu Wangzhou think that my mind is malicious and stubborn? Or is it beautiful like flowers, lively and lovely? You're different. Gu Wangzhou suddenly interrupted Chen Nian's thoughts. Upon hearing his answer, Chen Nian's joy increased a bit. Not bad, not bad. Gu Wangzhou still has a good impression of Jiang Hua. He thinks she is different from others, which means that Jiang Hua holds a unique position in his heart. TSK, this kid usually likes to ignore Jiang Hua. I didn't expect it, just as Chen Nian thought that the next step was to confess his love and love, Gu Wangzhou suddenly spoke up, you seem to have changed someone lately. Chen Nian's masterpiece of alarm bells. Just now, the illusion is like a shining foam in the sun, which breaks and vanishes in an instant. How could it be, Lord? I've always been like this. Chen Nian continued to deny. But watching Gu Wangzhou's increasingly skeptical expression, Chen Nian felt that it was better to go against the trend. Since he had already doubted me, his denial would only make him more certain, so why not? Okay, I admit it. Upon hearing Chen Nian's answer, Gu Wangzhou was slightly stunned, then withdrew his skeptical gaze and looked at Chen Nian with a keep talking expression. I admit that I was a bit spoiled and capricious before, and it's only natural for the prince not to like me like that. On the night of our wedding, you said that kind of thing to me. But I have a deep affection for the prince and cannot extricate myself. It was your resolute words that awakened me, so I decided to change myself. I want to. Shut up. Okay, I'll shut up. Shut up. Chen Nian immediately raised her hands to cover her mouth, her eyes still fixed on Gu Wangzhou to observe his expression. Seeing Gu Wangzhou's expression gradually becoming solemn, as he was about to speak, Chen Nian quickly interrupted. Since the prince doesn't want to listen, let's go back to the mansion as soon as possible. Don't let your grandmother and mother wait in a hurry. It's so late, they will worry. After speaking, Chen Nian put down his hands, lifted his skirt, and ran forward. Duh. After running several hundred meters, Chen Nian didn't hear the footsteps of Gu Wangzhou and turned to look. I saw Gu Wangzhou still standing in place, with the corner of his mouth slightly raised. Chen Nian couldn't help but wonder, did he believe it? The nonsense I just said. Gu Wangzhou looked at Chen Nian and then looked up to the left. Chen Nian followed his gaze and also looked up. The two big characters, Gu Fu, suddenly appeared before my eyes. Chen Nian walked back slowly with an embarrassed expression on his face. Prince. Actually, Gu Wangzhou stopped the slightly raised corners of his mouth and became expressionless again. Seeing Chen Nian walking towards this direction, he turned around and stepped up the steps into the Gu mansion. Lord, listen to my sophistry. Pooh. No, listen to my explanation, Lord. Chen Nian quickly ran over and thought, it's over, my pig head. I don't even remember the way home. It's all Gu Wangzhou's fault, he left me with no time to consider anything else. This old fox. Grandmother, mother. We're back. Chen Nian and Gu Wangzhou stepped into the door. Chuanzhan saw his own prince holding something in his hand and quickly walked over with small steps to pick it up. Oh, my Hua has returned. How were you playing with Zhou'er today? Grandmother happily grasped Chen Nian's hands. Grandmother, we had a great time playing, and the prince even took the initiative to help me carry things. He took special care of me all the way. Hey, that's good. That's good. My good grandson has grown up and knows he loves his wife. Grandmother approached Gu Wangzhou with a smile, leaving her other hand to hold him. Just as she was about to fold his hand onto Chen Nian's, Gu Wangzhou quietly pulled it out. Chen Nian saw a hint of disappointment on his grandmother's face, but soon regained a happy expression. Immediately, Chen Nian whispered in his grandmother's ear. Grandmother, we also met Grandma Wu today. But don't worry, we did a great job. Haha, good and good. Today has been really tough, and dinner is also ready. Come to Zhou, accompany me and your mother to have dinner. My grandmother, mother, and boat will go to court tomorrow. There are still many things to deal with today, so I'll bid farewell first. The prince doesn't have time, but I do. I accompany my grandmother and mother. Huar, be good, I know you're a busy person, go ahead. My grandmother waved her hand to Gu Wangzhou. Chapter 10. I didn't see anything. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The boat left first. Gu Wangzhou bid farewell one by one and turned around to leave. Walking around the corner, Gu Wangzhou leaned sideways into the darkness, lifted his right hand and hooked it with his fingertips. A black shadow quickly flashed behind him. Prince. I saw the black figure clasping their fists and bowing in salute. Wei Yu, keep an eye on the queen these days and report everything that happens. Gu Wangzhou carried his hands behind his back. Yes, my lord. Immediately, the figure disappeared into darkness again. The antique architecture appears more solemn and stable under the cover of night and moonlight. Hiccup, I ate so full today, I'm so tired after wandering the streets all day. Chen Nian lay on the bed rubbing her stomach, her eyes gradually blurred and she became increasingly drowsy. Suddenly, with a sudden inspiration, he sat up from the bed. Today, Gu Wangzhou clearly had doubts about me. Can't he? I wouldn't really end up here, would I? He wouldn't really treat me like a monster and burn me, would he? Chen Nian became more and more afraid as she thought, and her drowsiness disappeared without a trace. One hand quickly patted the forehead, stamping its foot in haste. Chen Nian. Think of a way. Got it. Chen Nian's brain spun rapidly, and with a sudden inspiration, he finally came up with a solution. Regardless of whether this method had any effect or not, it was still necessary to give it a try. Chen Nian, who had a solution, lay in bed again, ready to fall asleep. Suddenly, she remembered that Jiang Hua would bring calming soup to Gu Wangzhou every night before his death. Although he had never tasted it before, Chen Nian shook his head wildly and roared in his heart, oh my. Jiang Hua's love brain is really terrifying. Not only is it a love brain, but also a love brain with perseverance. Do you think if you put this perseverance in your studies, can the reputation of the top talented woman in Beijing still fall on you? Chen Nian became increasingly angry as she thought. If I don't go myself, it will deepen Gu Wangzhou's suspicion of me, but I'm really tired. Well, let's make a quick decision. After a fierce ideological struggle, he finally got up angrily from the bed and went to the kitchen to cook calming soup for Gu Wangzhou, swearing and cursing. The moon is bright and the stars are sparse, and the deep blue sky is shrouded in a thin layer of gray clouds and mist. A warm yellow lantern slowly drifted in the pitch-black night, with a faint halo reflecting Chen Nian's sleepy eyes that were almost unable to open. From a distance, it seems like a ghost wandering in the courtyard. Chen Nian's legs were as heavy as pouring lead, reaching out to pull the summer spoon next to the lamp. Summer spoon, is it almost here? Chen Nian is weak and powerless. Yes, princess. After a while, Chen Nian, who was feeling drowsy, came to Gu Wangzhou's room and saw that the lights were still on. She thought to herself, probably reading a book again. Dudu. Chen Nian raised his hand and knocked on the locked door. Who is it? Prince, it's me. I came in on. No. The door was pushed open, and the faint no was completely concealed. Chen Nian took the food box from Xia Xiao's hand with one hand, lifted the hem of her skirt with the other hand, and crossed over to Gu Wangzhou's desk. She slapped the food box on the table. Prince, this is the calming soup I personally made for you. Drink it while it's hot. Chen didn't raise his thoughts either, but slowly took out the bowl and placed it on the table. After a long silence, Chen Nian looked up and saw that Gu Wangzhou, who was supposed to be sitting at the desk, had disappeared. Prince. Chen Nian let out a weak cry from exhaustion, but there was still no response. Hey, what about people? Didn't they just? Chen Nian's voice suddenly came to an end, his scattered and lifeless eyes instantly widened, and his eyes flickered brightly, focusing on a certain spot. Chen Nian finally regained consciousness and began to notice the misty moisture and faint fragrance of soapberry in the room through the thin mist that permeated before his eyes. Chen Nian saw Gu Wangzhou sitting naked in the bathtub, with the water surface covering his chest muscles. Under the reflection of the light and water light, he appeared even tighter and stronger. His arms, with smooth muscle lines, extended and supported the edge of the bathtub. Underneath the water, there is a faint hint of abdominal muscles. Tsk, not being nearsighted is good. This gaze is like an eightfold mirror, and through the mist and water surface, one can still see the faint abdominal muscles. It's not like in modern times, wearing glasses with a temperature of over 500 degrees every day makes oneself appear even more lethargic and exhausted. Have you seen enough? A deep voice rang out and lingered in my ears. No, that's enough. Chen Nian suddenly realized something and immediately changed his mind, while also covering his eyes with both hands. Report a little bit, Prince. I really didn't know you were taking a shower in the house. I'm here to bring you soup. Chen Nian spoke, but the gaze that shot through his fingers still lingered on Gu Wangzhou's body. This collarbone should be easy to bite, and the protruding Adam's apple slid up and down as Gu Wangzhou spoke. Tsk, truly a beauty bathing picture. The description in the novel is not deceiving me. Since you've seen enough, please leave. Also, take the soup off the table. Gu Wangzhou felt the scorching gaze emanating from Chen Nianwei's slightly parted fingers, his rosy face slightly parted. I knew it. If you don't drink it, I'll drink it. I'm just a little thirsty. Chen Nian turned around, put down his hands that were covering his eyes, and took a big sip from the bowl at hand. Pup! A large mouthful of soup sprayed out of Chen Nian's mouth. Pooh, pooh, pooh. What kind of smell is this? Why is it so bitter? Ah, 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 Chen Nian grinned bitterly and stomped his feet urgently. What kind of calming soup is this? The refreshing and brain-warming soup is about the same. I thought as I looked at the kettle indoors, hoping to drink some water to alleviate the bitterness. But in front of Chen Nian, besides the bookshelf, there was also a picture of a beautiful man taking a bath. Humph! Gu Wangzhou chuckled softly. Come here, there are candied fruits on the table over here. Upon hearing Gu Wangzhou's words, Chen Nian noticed a small wooden round table behind the bathtub, surrounded by small square stools. There are several jade-like small plates on the table, which hold things. Behind the table is a simple single bed. These are probably temporarily arranged by Gu Wangzhou during his wedding, Chen Nian thought. They are not very luxurious, but they are also simple and clean. Are you saying to let me go over there? Chen Nian extended her finger to the round table. The answer to Chen Nian was a moment of silence. You asked me to go, so I went on. Chen Nian covered her eyes with one hand again, while the other reached forward to explore the road, walking cautiously. Her fingers were tightly intertwined, and she dared not let out any more scattered light, afraid that Gu Wangzhou might be angry and drive her out, not even allowing her to eat the preserves. Feeling and groping, he arrived at the round table and, in order to prevent his eyes from committing crimes, chose to sit with his back to Gu Wangzhou, and then began to taste her life-saving straw.